All right. Well, hello everybody. My name is Enrique Liñán. I am the training manager here at PC Peru, and I'm here with my colleagues.
Hi, I'm Carmen, PCMO. Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm the director of programming and training.
This is Miriam, master trainer.
I am Alonso, project manager.
I'm Nelly, the PTS.
Which stands for Programming and Training Specialist.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Oh,
So-
medical officer.
Okay, so we're gonna start our call with our director of programming and training, who's gonna tell you a little bit about the post and our country.
Yes. So hello again. I'm going to just take a little bit of time to give you an introduction to our country, the service history here in Peru, and a little bit of kind of expectation setting about some important topics before you arrive here next week. So we're going to cover a lot of information. Please take notes of anything that is of interest to you, and at the end we'll have time for question and answers, of course. So I'd first like to start off with why Peace Corps really is the toughest job that you'll ever love. That's the tagline that is always my favorite about Peace Corps service, and it reminds me about truly what it's about and the commitment that you're about to make when you arrive here next week. So we'd like to take an opportunity to talk to you about that right now and ask you to reflect a little bit about what this experience is going to become for you. And that for us, it's very important that you take this commitment seriously. At this time, when you have a week left, you're with your family, your friends, those people that are close to you in your life, and it's important to set expectations about what is to come. You know, these days with social media and with the geographic proximity of Peru to the United States, it will be relatively easy for you to stay in touch, but you will be away for the next 2 years. So it's important to have those conversations right now about what this means to you. And truly, what is the commitment? Why is it the toughest job you'll ever love? You know, it's not so much the physical challenges, although there will be some of that. But it's really about what you're going to learn as an individual and what it means to serve others. And we like to remind you at this point that, you know, although service is a personal journey and it's an individual choice to come here, it's really about serving others and about the communities that we're here to support. And so although you might feel maybe you're not certain right now, and if that's a feeling you're having, we'd like you to think about that closely before you get on that plane next week. It's very important that when we meet you next week, that we know that you're going to be here for the next 2 years. So a little bit about our history here in country. Peace Corps started in 1962 here in Peru, so we have a really long history of partnership with the government. We were here from 1962 till 1975, when the government then switched and we took a bit of a break before coming back in 2002. And during that time, 2,000 plus volunteers served in this country, and they served in several project areas with agriculture, education, small business, and it was a very successful program. We returned in 2002 at the request of the then President Toledo, and I was actually one of the volunteers in that first group to return, and so I feel very fortunate to be back here in Peru in my country's service, working with Peace Corps again. And at that time, when we reopened in 2002, we had a community health program and a small business development program. In the following years, we opened up other sectors. In 2004, we opened our youth development project, which is the other project that you'll be serving with here in Peru. In 2005, we opened our environment project, which recently actually closed this last month after 12 years of successful service. In 2007, we then opened our WASH, which is our water, sanitation, and hygiene project, which brings us to right now. So we have our health, which is you. We have our youth and development, we have community economic development, and we have water, sanitation, and hygiene. We also have what we call our response program, and our response program is for, ex-volunteers who already served in Peace Corps or for highly experienced professionals who want to do a short-term, high-impact assignment in our country. So a little bit more about where are we working. So right now we have volunteers in 8 administrative departments. For health, and Alonso will explain this in a little bit, you'll be placed in 3 of those, which is a combination of really our highland sites and kind of close a little bit to our jungle area of the country. I'm going to shift a little bit and talk about some important points about living and working in Peru, and And I'm highlighting some areas that will help, I think, set your expectations before you get here, and they're important points for us that we'll also cover with you when you get here during your pre-service training for the next 3 months, basically. So one of the important things that everyone loves and thinks about is food and culture. When you get here, you're gonna love the food, first of all. Peru has actually such a diverse cuisine, and it really rivals many countries internationally in terms of its quality and just culinary experience overall. For you, where you'll be living and serving, it'll be a bit more basic, a more routine diet, and it'll be very carbohydrate heavy. But you'll get used to it. You know, it becomes part of your life and part of your experience. That said, there are some kind of simple truths to always remember about what it means to be a volunteer. You will be adapting when you first get here. You probably will get sick and not feel very well during training. You'll get sick at times during your service as well. But it's okay, you'll get better. We have an outstanding medical team here that'll teach you how to stay healthy. And it's just part of the experience, it's part of the process. And with that, you'll be adapting to some of the difference in hygiene standards. And so in your host families, you may notice that they don't prepare the food the same way, they don't wash their hands at the same times. And that first, that might be a shock to you. And we'll talk to you during pre-service training about culturally appropriate ways to talk to your host family about hygiene and using it as teachable moments in your service, okay? Let's see, let's move on to weather. So Peru is very famous for its 3 distinct regions. We have the desert coast, we have the highlands and the mountains, and we also have the jungle. It's a beautiful country. You'll get to know it and love it. You'll get opportunities to travel through service and through vacation as well. So what we always recommend, because of the climate differences, is that you pack layers of clothes because you don't know where you're going to be placed. And so have options for you to consider for hot climates on the coast or even in the cold weather in the mountains. And with that in mind, we like to also share that when it comes to placement, there are many factors that we take into consideration, and so you might have a climate preference, but that won't necessarily be what we can meet as an expectation. Okay? Diversity is, I'm sure you've probably seen in some of your research, Peru is just a vibrant, diverse culture with a really rich history. And it's important to also know that it's not just Machu Picchu and what it's famous for and why tourism is such a big industry here, of course. But there's a lot of traditional influences on what you see today in each of the distinct regions, and it's really not a homogeneous society. It's very diverse amongst its race, its language, and its history. And so you'll get to learn a lot about that during pre-service training and then just your life and work here. Culturally speaking, there might be some differences that you will notice and witness throughout your service. In particular, for volunteers, it can be difficult to adapt to some of the manners of violence or discipline in the country. In terms of school, corporal punishment is common, and you may see that. In terms of family issues and social issues, there is domestic violence as well. And Peru's not alone, this is an issue around the world. And we'll talk to you about how to cope and how to understand those issues as within the context of your service in Peru as well. So with that, I'm going to stop here and pass it on to my colleagues so they can share a little bit more about your service experience, your work, your training, your preparation.
Great, thank you. Now, Dr. Carmen?
Hi, I'm very excited that you guys are coming and we're going to see each other pretty soon. You will have 3 PCMOs or Peace Corps Medical Officers, aka your 3 doctors. And during the first month, you will get the shots that you're missing that are mandatory for Peace Corps. So get your arms ready to get like 1,000 shots on each arm, más o menos. And other things that that you need to bring 3 months of supplies of your medications or prescribed medications. We have in country pretty good supply and medicines, but as you know, Peace Corps, we give you generic. So if you're taking one specific brand, you have to bring 2 pairs of glasses, and we're here to take care of you in a preventive and also curative way. So if you get sick, you have your doctor, and you also have your 911 that will be us. Jorge, do you have anything?
Introduce yourself.
Sneak back your hand. There he is.
Hi. Hi, I'm the other doctor. We're three doctors, Carmen, Suni, and me. Yeah, welcome to Peru. We'll see you very soon next week. And just remember that you're going to a developing country, so it's going to be normal that you're going to get sick a lot more than what you get sick over there. Like some people have lots of diarrhea. All of you are going to poop your pants. Get ready for that. That's part of the episode. So yeah, see you soon.
And also he's gonna be the person at the airport who's gonna be like trying to capture all those moments with his camera. So be ready for that. All right, thank you, doctors. Now, your program team, Alonso and Nelly, will talk about the project framework and the regions where volunteers work.
Okay, hi all again. I am Alonso, the project manager. Nelly, the program and training specialist, is also here, and we both with Marcela Pacheco, our program assistant, are the health team. So we only have a few minutes, so I want to be very direct with the information that we want to share with you now at this call. So I want to give a quick overview of the health project framework. The purpose of the health project is to help people from rural communities to improve their health. So this is the first takeaway for you. You will be serving in small rural communities in some regions in the country. So in this context, you will have, for example, some kind of phone service, but you have very limited access to internet. Then we have two goals based on two different target populations that we have, and these target populations have been prioritized by the Peruvian government. So we are here to support the Peruvian government or public institutions' priorities. The first goal is to help mothers with children under 3 years to adopt healthy habits which help them to improve their kids' health. And we have 3 objectives under this goal, which are to promote and practice early childhood stimulation, to promote positive and good feeding practices, and hygiene, and things like drinking safe water. Our main counterpart for this goal is the Ministry of Health. So at the community level, you'll be working with small health posts. And there are also other potential counterparts like health promoters who are community members, and there are also volunteers like you. They receive training on health promotion activities, so they are a great resource for small communities. And there are also some social programs implemented by the Peruvian government, those people work under this initiative to help, for example, to prevent important diseases or important health factors like malnutrition in children. Our main activities at this goal are house visits. Health volunteers usually visit these moms to monitor the behavior change process, and we also co-facilitate training sessions with personnel from the health post and other people from the community. Our second goal is to help youth to adopt practices to reduce risky sexual behavior. So what we do is to help teachers to identify students who have the profile to become a peer educator. Then we select them, train them, and encourage them to replicate, to share this new knowledge that they get. We call them peer educators. The main counterpart for this goal is at the community levels are the high school teachers, and we also work with health personnel because they are the expert on sexual and reproductive health, and parents too. Main activities for this goal are like co-facilitation of training sessions for peer educators and students in general. We also do other activities with them Here at the pre-service training, you will have information. You will have a chance to get more information about these two goals in general. Now we'll let Nelly to continue sharing more comments on the pre-service training process and your side assignment.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Nelly. I'm the Programming and Training Specialist of Community Health Program. I'm in charge of your technical training during pre-service training. As Alonso said, the Community Health Program has two goals, but the pre-service training is focused on the goal one, working with mothers, fathers, caregivers, and children under 3 years. Why? Because children under 3 years is the most critical population in Peru for the cases of anemia and malnutrition. So you can find out more about that now. Well, right now I'm finishing the process of site identification. In this opportunity, we don't have any site in the coast of Peru. So it means that all of you are going to do your service in the Sierra, in the rural areas in Peru. The sites will be above 2,000 meters above the sea level. So you should bring clothes for heat and cold and rainy seasons too. No? Well, the regions, the future sites are in 3 regions of Peru: Ancash, Amazonas, and Cajamarca. So if you have some questions about attitude, you can ask the doctors. That's it.
Right. Thank you, health team, for that. Now, we're gonna pass it on to Miriam, who's our master trainer, who's gonna talk to you about the training assessment process.
Hi everyone. I just want to share briefly about the trainee assessment portfolio, which is the assessment criteria we use with you in order to see your performance during pre-service training. The idea is that you can achieve certain competencies to be an effective volunteer in PC Peru. We want you to be able to integrate in your community, to facilitate participatory community development, and to exemplify professional service. So during PST, we will be helping you achieve this, and we will be working as a team. You will have observations, you will have practicums, you will have many opportunities to practice the skills and knowledge and attitudes you are bringing, but also the ones you will be enhancing, improve. The training assessment portfolio is actually a booklet, and you will be receiving it during your first session in PST. And you will have the chance to discuss about it with the staff also. If you have any question, anything that's not clear, please talk to us. But we will be explaining in detail when you are here. The idea is that we will be providing you with feedback, and we will giving you support on an ongoing basis. But we want you to be responsible of your own learning process, and that you are able to identify what are the things you need to improve, or perhaps if you will need to prepare a plan for you. We work with competencies, core competencies and sector competencies. So the core competencies are the set of knowledge, skills, and attitudes we want every single Peace Corps volunteer and trainee achieve in Peace Corps in general. And the sector competencies are the ones related to the health program in this case. PTS will also work with you because there are many different tools that we use. For example, you will be having, as I mentioned before, practicum and observations, but also online work, quizzes, essays, and one-on-one interviews with the staff as well. So this is it, just something really, really quick. for you to have a sense, no, on what we do in terms of monitoring and evaluation.
Yes, thank you, Miriam. This is one of the tools that we will use, basically our main tool to determine readiness to serve, right, and qualification to serving as a volunteer. We'll definitely explain more about it. If you want more information, it was included also in the bridge to pre-service training. And it's basically the tool to set you up for success during your service. That's basically the main purpose of having a pre-service training before you go to your communities, is to prepare you, to give you all the support and feedback that you need to serve as a healthy, safe, and effective volunteer. Now, before we finish this call, I wanted to mention some of the things that you should keep in mind before you travel. One of the things that some of you have been asking on the Facebook group is about sleeping bags. I know that some of you are worried about that, but I want you to know that you can buy them here. You can find them here in Lima. Especially, you can find different types of sleeping bags, different brands. Prices may go from $10 to $40, $50. So you can buy them here. So you don't need to bring that with you. If you're undecisive on what to pack or what to bring, you can find sleeping bags here in Peru. Now, about clothing and packing, we sent you a document that's called Peace Corps Dress for Success. That's a document that was put together by the volunteers here. So please take a look at the document and use it as a reference for packing. Some of you have already shared their videos of what they're bringing and what they're packing to bring to Peru. Remember to bring layers, and also remember to bring some formal clothes. As you will notice when you work in schools, when you go on facilitate sessions or do house visits and go to health posts, you will need business casual clothes, but also for ceremonies, you will need formal clothes. So make sure that you bring formal clothes, especially for the serving ceremony and some other ceremonies that you have throughout your service. So keep that in mind. Another thing, a couple of documents that you need to keep in mind is the first one is your resumes. We will need a copy of your resumes in Spanish. We send you templates, and we also send you samples of volunteers that served here previously. Please work on that resume. It's only it's one page. It won't take you a long time to complete, but please have it ready and bring it to post, because we will be using it during the first week of pre-service training. Okay? And then another thing is the aspiration statement. Most of you have uploaded that to the system, but there's still some people that haven't. So please make sure to upload your aspiration statement to the system. And the bridge to pre-service training, all of you have received that document. Marcela Trask, our desk officer, she has sent that information to you. So please take time to read that information. It has all the main points that you need to know to prepare for your arrival here. And finally, when in preparation to get to post, remember to bring some gifts, small gifts for your host families. You will be living here while you're in pre-service training. You will be living with one family in the area of Chaclacayo, where our training center is located. And after you serve in and you're assigned to the community where you will be serving for the next 2 years, you will have another host family. So please remember to bring something for your host families as a way to say thank you for opening the doors of their houses to have you stay there. Some examples of gifts for host families are postcards or souvenirs from the region, the city or the state where you're from. Some volunteers bring chocolate. You could also bring keychains or fridge magnets. Just something small that will show your host family that you have thought about them before you arrived in country. So please make sure you bring something like that to warm the hearts of your host families. Any other suggestions maybe for gifts or stuff for host families? Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to mention is about airport arrival. You have already received the information about staging and flight information. Marcela Trask, our desk officer, has been communicating with you about that. You will be arriving in Lima next Thursday, right, August 17th. We will be at the airport waiting for you. We have requested access to go and meet you at the gate before you go through migrations. So most likely you will see me and our country director, Farmer Hickox. We will be there waiting for you to give you instructions on what to do before you go through migrations and then pick up your bags, okay? So we'll have a Peace Corps sign too so that you can easily identify us. And then we will take you from the airport. You'll see some of the staff there welcoming you. And then we'll take you to a retreat center where you will spend one night. And after that, we will go to the next morning, we'll go to our training center where you will, we will start our orientation retreat. Please, as indicated in the pre-service training, remember to pack one small bag for that one night, okay? Because once you get to the airport, we'll bring your big suitcases. We'll bring them straight to the training center. You won't have access to them. So remember to bring a backpack that you will need to use for that one night, and then you'll have access to all your other stuff the next day. Okay, that was included in the bridge to pre-service training, but I wanted to emphasize that because the first night you won't have access to your big suitcases. Okay, and also read the regulations for suitcases because Peace Corps has already determined how many suitcases you can bring and the size and weight of your suitcases. If you go over that limit, then you will have to pay for that excess baggage. Peace Corps will not assume that the cost of that excess baggage. And yeah, that's it. I don't know if you have any questions or comments. We'll welcome questions right now. Please say your name and then your question.
Hi, this is Lizzie Carlson, and I was just curious, a couple examples of what some of the communities that we'll be going into, what their expectations will be from us. What are their, when we go to a community, what will their attitudes be towards us coming in, and what would you recommend, building trust and having an understanding of that? What are some of the things that we should keep in mind when we're coming and in terms of the things we're packing and all of that?
Hi, Elizabeth. Yeah. So you will be assigned in the various modes. So after your training, after the pre-service training, which is like a 12 weeks training. After that, you will be serving in rural communities in the north of the country, in the Sierra, the highlands. So the idea is that you can identify, we have, at this moment, we are closing the scientification process, which means that we are doing some visits to your future sites to identify potential counterparts for you. For example, the people who work at the health post at the high school. They know, they're aware of there will be a volunteer coming to help them to work under these two walls, with moms, with children under 3, and with the students. So yes, as I said, these rural communities have particular conditions like limited access to internet. You will have access to phone service. All the logistics and the safety and security aspects of your future communities meet Peace Corps minimum criteria. All of your communities are going to be approved by the co-director, the director of program training, medical officers, safety and security manager, and the program team.
And in terms of how the community will perceive you or how we'll receive you, we will talk about that during pre-service training. As Miriam mentioned, one of the competencies is integrating into a community. So that has a lot to do with the volunteer, the strategies that you will use to integrate into the community, including the way you dress, the way you talk to them, the way you smile. So we will definitely discuss all of that. Nelly here has a lot of experience in that. She comes from working in the field directly with volunteers in one of our regions. So Nelly will be a great contact person to give you strategies to tell you how to better integrate into the community. That is the objective of pre-service training, and we'll definitely talk a lot about that.
Yes, I want to add that in pre-service training, you will develop some skills to get a good relationship with them. So,
we want to provide you tools to navigate under these different codes, the Peruvian culture.
Yes, and we will definitely explore all of that during pre-service training.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Any other questions?
Hi, this is Angelica. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Angelica.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for the call. I have two questions. I just wanted to clarify, I thought I heard, the line wasn't very clear when this was said, that all the house volunteers will be placed in La Sierra. Is that correct?
Yes, is that correct? All the volunteers,
Okay, Mhm.
All the volunteers.
all the volunteers will be placed in Amazonas, Ancash, and Cajamarca. These three regions in the
The
mountains,
mountains, yes.
in the north of the country.
Okay. Okay, it'll help with last minute packing, so that's thanks for letting us know that. That's great. And another question, I'm sorry I don't have a very specific, question for this one, but there's goal number 3, that one of my fellow volunteers like to be on the call. I think it's the one where if you go back to the US during your service and you engage in an educational activity, that you get 3 vacation days. I think there was a general question about that. If you could maybe think about that.
Yeah, that's a good question. So you are correct. During your service, you have the opportunity to do goal 3 activities, is what we call them. So sharing about your Peruvian service experience with friends and family and in contacts back in the United States. We'll discuss this during our policy session during pre-service training, but essentially you have to seek permission from the country director. He will approve the activities, and then for every event that you do, you can earn 1 vacation day back. And that's basically it. But it's to help promote goal 3 and because we know volunteers do a lot of that while they're on vacation back home.
Okay, so every activity that you engage in, that will earn you 1 vacation day, for example.
Well, not necessarily per activity. So if you went and did 1 event at a school and you presented at that school, that would be that 1 event. If you did 3 schools in 1 day, it would still be that 1 day is 1 vacation day you get back.
And all
Okay.
of these activities needs to be approved by the country director.
Right.
And there's a template and a format that you'll need to
Yeah.
complete, and we'll give you all that information once you're here.
For sure. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Angelica. Any other questions?
Hi, my name is Katie Nickerson. I just have a question about the host families that we're going to stay with for when we get our site assignment. Could you just tell me a little bit more of how that process would work, of how to pick a host family, or I don't really know how the host family selection works.
Okay, so host families, as I mentioned before, there's 2 host families. 1 host family that you will be assigned to while you live in Chaclacayo. That's the host family for training, or your training host family. We will assign, we send you a survey. You should have completed that survey by now, with information about if you are allergic to smoke, if you have any food restrictions, and that information helps us to match you with a host family. That's for the 12 weeks of training. Now, host families in your future sites where you will be serving after site assignment, that Alonso will tell you about that.
Yeah, during this sanctification process, we also have meetings with your counterparts and other community members, and we ask them to present potential options for your host families. Then we also have regional coordinators who are Peace Corps staff members, and they live in regional capitals. So they are the host family managers. So they visit these families. They are doing it now. They visit these families. They ask them if they want to receive a volunteer almost as a family member, and they also check if the house meets the Peace Corps criteria for safety and security and other logistic things. And then they have a discussion about the host family role and the volunteer role. But again, we ask for a family which represents the reality of the community, because that's the idea. And we explain them that they are experts on community aspects like culture, food, and they also can provide some advices on security, or how to integrate in the community too.
Okay, great, thank you.
And you'll meet your host families, not until, like, you will meet them during week 6 of pre-service training. There's an event where trainees meet their future host families, and we'll tell you about that too. But you'll have a chance to meet them before you actually, before you go and live with them.
We are only going to have we are going to have a session on how to live with host families at week 5.
Yes, week 5 of pre-service training. Yes. Thank you, Katie.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi, this is Erica again. Oh, go ahead, I already got the question, go ahead. No, that's okay, go ahead, I can wait. Thank you. I'm Erica here. Regarding prescription medicines, if we're already using a generic, is there a higher likelihood that you will have access to that generic or not? I don't know how that works if we wanted to pick the specific generic we're currently using.
Normally when you're taking some medication, we will buy the generic here in Peru, in Lima. We don't buy brands, we buy the medicine, the pharmacological name, the generic. So we'll get it in Peru. Yeah, so if we have it here, we get it here. The one we have here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angelica. ¿Más preguntas?
This is Rachel Storm.
Hi, Rachel.
I was wondering what the cell-phone situation would be. Do you guys recommend that we wait until we get there to figure out the service plan, or I know a lot of people talk about Google Voice, but what do you guys suggest?
Yes, yeah, Rachel. So you will receive a cell phone the second day you are here at post. So PC Peru will provide all trainees with a cell phone and a SIM card, so that you have access to a network that will provide free calls to all volunteers in and PC Peru staff in the same network. So you will have access to a phone and a SIM card that you will use throughout your service.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
So this is Lucy Carlson, and I hope that I'm answering your second question.
Yes.
I'm getting a lot of, obviously probably all of us are getting a lot of family and friends wanting to visit us, and I am discouraging them from coming in the first 6 months. But I'm wondering what is the policy on that, and how, if you have a lot of visitors, do you try to keep it to a certain number of visitors within the 2 years? Do you have recommendations for that volume of people coming to visit? Do you discourage it, or kind of just a little bit of feedback on that as well?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the vacation policy is that you earn 2 days of vacation for every month you serve. So if you add that up, you get 48 vacation days, okay? You can't take vacation in your first 3 months of service, and then your last month of service. So then if you look at the window when you can take vacation, you can manage that time that you have. Now, the way we do vacation policy, which we'll explain during PST in more detail for you, is that you have to request your vacation days and get approval from your primary counterpart who you work with in your site. And then you have to submit that to your program manager, who will also approve your leave based on the application that you submit. And if it's international, it then also has to get approved by our country director, okay? Now, for people visiting, we don't necessarily have a limit on people that come to visit you, okay? But you will have to take the required vacation days to accommodate that. I think my general piece of advice, and it sounds like you're already thinking about it, is that Give yourself time to adjust, to adapt, to integrate into your site. That's your #1 commitment in your service experience to your community. And yeah, manage those expectations a little bit with your friends and family, because it can be overwhelming for you, and it can be overwhelming for your community. And so think about how you want to plan that over your 2 years. It's a wonderful opportunity for people to come visit, absolutely. And there are many places that you're going to want to visit in Peru itself. So you'll have that time to think about it and to plan once you get here. And we'll talk more about that policy to do that. Okay?
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Or all right. So it seems that. Okay then. So thank you so much for joining us and for watching. Again, if you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to contact Marcela Trasker, CDO, or myself. Okay, and we'll see you next week. We're really excited to meet you all. Yeah, bienvenidos.
All right.
Any other thing? You guys
No,
want to say?
enjoy your last couple of days. We'll see you soon.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Cuídense.
Oh, ciao. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, ciao.
Thank you. Thank you.